Hello there, good to see you. A very crucial issue comes to mind this midday. Talking about when there's an incident and you get to see people try to take, laws into their hands in an attempt to seek justice. Well, on Panorama today, we will be looking at the consequences of taking those laws into your hands. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ruth Aguele. Welcome. Following the screening and confirmation of all the 7 ministers by the Senate, they're set for swearing-in ceremony at the presidential villa in Abuja. Our State House correspondent, Musbahuddin Wahab, who is keeping an eye on the event, reports that President Bola Tinubu is to preside over the brief swearing-in ceremony. We'll bring you much details in subsequent bulletin. The Court of Appeal has ordered the unfreezing of the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Samuel Walter Onogen's bank accounts in Standard Chartered Bank, Wuse, Abuja. This was after the court discharged and acquitted Onogen from the charges preferred against him in 2019 for not properly declaring his assets, leading to his removal from office and the freezing of Onogen's bank accounts. The consent judgment is the outcome of settlement terms reached by counsel to the federal government and the former CJN. The former Chief Justice of Nigeria had challenged his conviction and removal from office at the Court of Appeal. To other issues now, the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals says it will continue engaging key players in the mining sector to unravel the remote and immediate causes of minefield collapse in Shiroro local government areas of Niger State. Chairman of the committee, Ekong Samson, stated this at the Government House in Minna during an assessment visit to the state. Let's hear from National Assembly correspondent Isa Mohammed.
The recent minefield collapse in Shiroro, during which workers lost their lives, was brought to the attention of the Senate through a motion from Senator Sani Musa, leading to a resolution to investigate the incidents. The committee expressed sympathy over the tragedy with an assurance to uncover the line of fault for appropriate action.
Mining safety in Nigeria, the safeguards being put in place. And as a Senate, we became even more determined to put in measure such safeguards that will prevent a reoccurrence.
Any mining exploration that will take place without adequate safety and health and hazardous standards in order to curb such incidents, any leader will be very, very interested to seeing that he hold that area carefully.
Niger State Governor Muhammad Umaru Bago says his administration insists on responsible mining practice for sustainable operations and well-being of the citizenry.
Artisanal mining has cost us a loss of lives. It has cost us loss of properties. It has encouraged a lot of banditry and insecurity. Companies, for instance, who would be given permission to do mining in communities will have to understand that there are post-mining effects. These are some of the initiatives in the new law we are about to pass.
The committee reassured that its report will capture all concerns to ensure that mining activities in Nigeria are standardized and in the interest of host communities and the government. From Minna, Niger State, Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
Now, looking at something very crucial, if you look at what's happening in society today, you hear of different cases of ill treatment to minors and people taking laws into their hands. Some time back on NTA's Newsline program, there was a report of a stepmother who brought, untold harm to her stepdaughter in Owerri. That happened in Owerri. Well, we want to discuss consequences of taking laws into your hands, but before that, we just want to refresh your memory. Let's see that report again.
Amarachi Emmanuel and the sister have been living at the naked area of Owerri with their father and second wife, whom he married in 2019 after the death of his first wife in 2018. Painfully, Amarachi and her sibling were subjected to all kinds of inhuman treatment, ranging from starvation, battering, hard labor, merciless flogging, beating, torture, and other domestic violence, including lack of access to basic education. From their stepmother, Mrs. Blessing Emmanuel, who is also a secondary school teacher, until an Owerri-based journalist and human rights activist, Chidebube Okoma's attention was drawn to the plight of Amarachi, where she was hawking sachet water with burnt hands, including reddish eyes, which were inflicted on the poor girl by the stepmother over an allegation of cooking and eating the rice kept in the house.
Disturbing details of the alleged abuse prompted immediate action from our police operatives. During questioning, Mrs. Emmanuel admitted to the offense.
I bought 1 pint of rice. Okay. And then Sunday morning, I cooked 5 cups out of it. In the afternoon, we ate it together also. And then the remaining rice in the pot, I asked them to eat it. After eating it, the raw one, they took some cups and hid it. They didn't cook it. Okay.
It's the confidence and audacity, you know, for me there. Let's bring in our guests, actually. Mr. Nazir Sunusi is a public affairs analyst and a legal practitioner. Mr. Sunusi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You just saw that report. You know, it's very sad what has happened to that little girl. But again, when you see cases like this, it's only natural to provoke actions from the public, you know, to want to take laws into their hands by, you know, meting the same treatment or even worse to the offender. But as a legal practitioner, tell us.
Thank you for asking this important question. Let me begin with the historical context. Prior to the establishment of formal legal systems, human society existed in a state of nature characterized by violence, fear, anarchy, chaos, and so on. As Thomas Hobbes famously said, without the rule of law, human life would indeed be solitary, poor, nested, brutish, and short. So I'm not going to mince my words. Taking law into your own hand is illegitimate and it is not justifiable in any civilized society. So let me briefly highlight some of the consequences of taking law into your own hand. One, it violates the principle of the rule of law. Yeah. Number two, it violates the principle of fair trial, which is embedded in international instruments such as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, African Charter on Human and People Rights, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, even our national constitution, particularly Section 35, Sub 2, Sub 3, and Sub 4, and Section 36, Sub 1 of our constitution. So, and number three, it fosters revenge cycles. As you rightly said, now the way that her stepmother maltreated her, traumatized her, now it may provoke her family or the community to revenge. So these are some of the consequences of taking law into your hand. And apart from that, it portrays a country as a violent country. Yeah. And once a country is a violent country, foreign investors will not come to any country where they are seeing people taking law into their own hand. That is vigilantism or instant justice. So apart from that, taking law into our own hand render our laws useless. We have the enabling laws. Someone may argue that we have laws, but the police are not doing the needful, or the judiciary is not working.
So, Mr. Sunusi, which brings me to this question in the aspect of civil liability. You said it's violation to the rule of law. So what would you advise people do when they, because we're seeing cases of jungle justice. It's something really common in society here. What should people do when there is an incident that may provoke, actions?
Okay, let me begin by saying this. Justice cannot be achieved unless the rule of law is respected. Yeah. And secondly, without the rule of law, all of us will not be in this place we find ourselves. And anyone can fall a victim of such barbaric act. If society encourages mob justice or instant justice, anybody can fall a victim. Because sometimes little thing may happen, and people without hearing from you may start beating you or set you ablaze. So my advice to the general public is that whenever an incident happens, let us try to calm down. Let us try to control our anger. Even though you may complain that the system is not working or that the system will it will take a long time before we get justice, it's better than to start taking law into our own hand. As I said it, everyone can fall a victim of such barbaric act. Yeah. So the person, let us report the incident to the nearest police station and follow up.
Okay. All right, Mr. Nazir Sunusi, we have to leave the conversation there. Thank you so much for your time on Panorama.
Thank you so much for having me.
He's a legal practitioner, and while we ponder on those thoughts, let's take a break. Thank you for staying with us. It's barely 12 days to the Ondo governorship election, and the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says the state is calm, devoid of any pre-election anxiety. The INEC chairman expressed this at a meeting with media executives in Abuja, but appealed to journalists to sustain this record with balanced reportage of events.
As the Ondo State governorship election approaches, I appeal to the media to intensify your accurate reportage that will ensure peaceful elections, especially now that campaign by political parties and candidates is in full swing in the state. I also appeal to you to continue to serve as a counter force against fake news, misinformation, and disinformation. I'm glad to note that there has been no major incident of election-related violence known to the Commission in Ondo State so far. However, we are aware of flashpoints in some local government areas to which we have already drawn the attention of the security agencies. The Commission is glad to announce the accreditation of 112 national and international media organizations, deploying over 700 journalists, technicians, and other personnel to facilitate their coverage of the election.
The Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development is leveraging its Dubawa project to train youths in digital content development and management. The campaign, tagged Week for Truth, is being supported by the National Endowment for Democracy and the Embassy of Netherlands in Nigeria. Tokme Alabi reports.
The 2024 theme of this year's Global Media and Information Literacy Week is highlighting the transformative impact of generative artificial intelligence, digital content creators, and the public court. The initiative is to encourage youth of school age brackets to always verify statuses of news materials, online content, and startups before dissemination to avoid misinformation and fake news.
So whenever you hear a rumor, you need to double check it with other sources, official sources, and then I felt fact-checking is so important wherever you are, not only in this country but also in the Netherlands. If I cannot confirm something from 3 independent sources, then it is not worth to be published.
Dubawa in Hausa means to check the information, whether they are true and whether they are valid before making use of
that. It is always good to double-check your information, and that we have to make sure that the information we hear is always true, and we shouldn't always spread false rumors.
I intend to actually carry this I've learned and also make use of it everywhere I go, because not everything I hear is actually true. So I have to make sure that what I'm gaining is valid.
The conversation is strictly about fact-checking and for everyone, including students, to be on the same page in the fight against misinformation for the common good of all.
Since AI is a new thing, we decided that, okay, how do we use AI to solve the problem of information disorder? So I create the Dubawa chatbot where fact-checkers, journalists, young people like the ones we just trained can use that tool to verify any kind of information.
Since its inception in 2019, over 300 volunteers have participated in the campaign, with Dubawa's presence in Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Senegal, and the Gambia. In Abuja, Tokbe Alabi, NTA News.
Kogi State has been rated among states in the north with a number of appraisal sustainable landscape interventions following prompt payment of its counterpart funds. Charles Alpha reports that the World Bank and the federal government's special implementation support team was at Angba Gully erosion stabilization site on an on-the-spot assessment.
Erosion for years has been one of the major causes of displacement of people living along the corridor in Angba local government area of Kogi State. But after the Akrisal State Project Management Unit received additional 600 million naira to the 400 million naira already on ground as counterpart funding, it was no surprise the extent work has gone when the Special Implementation Support Team of the federal government and the World Bank embarked on a site inspection.
We are impressed so far with the work on the ground. Our only comment will be to speed up the implementation.
The quality of work done here is world class. We're happy to report that the contractor is living up to the specifications that we so designed.
The project has recorded successful execution of the Safe Life for Enabo and 300 water harvesting projects for dry season farming in Angba communities. After Governor Ododo flagged off the first phase of the Community Revolving Fund, about $250,000 was disbursed to 20 CIGS in 10 communities, with a total of 208 beneficiaries. The project has also supported farmers at the watershed with 30 hand-holding tractors and irrigation pumps to increase agricultural production and income generation. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Zamfara state government, we hear, is strengthening collaboration with relevant stakeholders to effectively address humanitarian crises resulting from the security challenges bedeviling the state. Jamilu Ibrahim reports.
The challenges ravaging communities across Zamfara state has traumatized many of the victims, mostly women and children. This has prompted Zamfara state government to initiate a mental health and psychological support program with a view to providing the required healthcare services to the victims. Zamfara State Commissioner for Health Aisha Muhammad Anka, represented by Executive Secretary of the State Drugs Management Agency, who inaugurated the committee in Gusau, said the initiative is in furtherance of the implementation of state of emergency recently declared in the state health sector.
I urge all the members to make sure that the confidence reposed in you to work in this all-important aspect of healthcare and this compound. Make sure you work hard.
The mental health and psychological support program is to be implemented by the Public Health Department of Zamfara State Ministry of Health with the representation from the relevant agencies and organizations.
We are having a lot of victims of banditry or kidnap that may require mental health services as well as psychological support.
There was a separate goodwill message by representatives of the World Health Organization, the Society for Family Health, the Red Cross, and other partners who all assured of their support to the initiative. A high point of the event was a presentation of an overview of the initiative by the program manager Aliu Shehu in Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
And next is sports update.
Defending champions Rivers Hoopers triumphed in the Atlantic Conference playoff, narrowly defeating their rivals Hoops and Reed 80-78 in a thrilling match at the Samuel Obemudia Stadium in Benin City. The five-time winners of the MBBF Men's Premier League preserved their unbeaten record, though they faced stiff competition from the Lagos-based opponents. The competitive nature of the game carried on into the third quarter, where Rivers Hoopers relied on three-point shots to stay ahead at 60-53, although Hoops and Reed made a determined push in the final quarter. Rivers Hoopers managed to secure the win. The Kingsmen will head back to Port Harcourt to prepare for the Final 8, scheduled to take place from November 13 to 19 at the venue yet to be announced. Meanwhile, Ikorodu City FC put an end to Rivers United unbeaten run with a convincing home victory in their MPFL match day 10 clash. In Ekene, a single goal from Michael Ebe and Remo Stars 3 points against Lobby Stars. Gordon Obaje scored twice for Rangers International, ensuring that Nasarawa United left empty-handed, while Niger Tornadoes defeated Shooting Star 2-0 in Mina. In the Oriental Derby, Heartland FC triumphed over Abia Warriors with a solid 2-win nil at the Umuahia Township Stadium. Bendel Insurance emerged victorious against Sunshine Stars with a score of 2-1, and Kano Pillars grabbed a late victory over Plateau United. Aqua United secured a 2-1 win over Kwara United, while Emba FC played to a draw with Bayelsa United in Yenagua. El Kanemi Warriors continued their unbeaten streak by defeating Katsina United 2-0. In other news, MFM Women's Basketball Club is in Monrovia, Liberia, for the FIBA Africa Zone 3 qualifiers for the club championship, which starts on Monday. 7 teams are competing in the championship. Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire, along with host Liberia, each have 2 clubs participating, with 7 teams hailing from the Republic of Benin. Nigeria's other representative is the custom team from Abuja. The MFF squad includes 4 players who have secured Nigeria's place in the Under-18 World Championship in Serbia, scheduled for 2025. Captain Wando Hamban Mavis led the Under-18 team, joined by Haminatu Ayoka Ayodeji, Iduma Bobeji Pius, and Abigail Isaac. MFF successfully retained their title from last year in Lagos after defeating Nigeria Custom. For Sport Update, Amazongo, NTA News.
And we're done with Panorama. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.